For the special ceremonies, special awards coming up for our performers, and our reporters standing by. The American Sleeve Bearing Classic represents race 12 of 17 for the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series and NASCAR 2000, and the 57th Modified Series event held here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Right now, we're going to head trackside. Standing by is Tony Sutton. Tony.
Thank you very much, Raleigh. Well, being presented the Gatorade Award for $600, Ted Christopher. Ted, congratulations, man. You're having just a killer season. Congratulations on this award.
Yeah, it's been a great year, you know, and started last week running at 25, and that was a really good run at Thompson, and the car feels real good tonight. Hope I can bring it home the same spot I did last week at Thompson for here at Stafford tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was standing out on pit road watching you take time. There wasn't a man out there that wasn't watching you take time. They all want to know what TC's doing. Congratulations. I hope you have a good run tonight.
All right, thank you very much.
And also the presentation for the Bud Polawall Award. Second this year. For Dave Bergman for 18.275. Dave, a great time. The car felt good. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, that was definitely the best lap I ever turned here.
Well, now all you have to do is turn 150 more of them, and you'll be right back here getting the checkered flag.
Yeah, hopefully we can find a setup and make us run for 150.
Well, Dave, congratulations. It was a great drive. Ladies and gentlemen, our pole winner, Dave Bergman.
We'd like to remind you that posted awards for the 150-lap American Sleeve Bearing American Classic are over $75,000, covering all divisions. So some hot money on the line tonight for these competitors, and we'll see who makes the field as a result of tonight's Bud Pole qualifying. No question about it. We'd like to remind you, too, that each and every week, Stafford Motor Speedway Broadcasting provides live worldwide audio coverage, including tonight's ASB American Classic. The event airs on Yahoo Broadcast, located at www.broadcast.com. All you have to do is tune in. You can catch us live right here at the Stafford Motor Speedway on the internet worldwide. And of course, for you folks in the grandstand, if you bring along an AM radio, you can dial us in, hear our broadcast at 590 on the AM dial. That's right. You can apply your headsets and dial into that particular point, and you'll be all set to hear our broadcast 590 on the AM dial. Now let's go trackside. Oh, no, we're not quite yet. Just a moment. We've got some folks standing by, and we'll get to that in just a moment. A little bit later on, Nancy Benway, American Sleeve Bearings Vice President, and Fidelco Guide Dog Foster will serve as honorary starter for the ASB American Classic. And George Salpetro, Executive Director of the Fidelco Guide Dog Foundation, is serving as our Grand Marshal for tonight's special activities. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Stafford Motor Speedway and tonight's running of the American Sleeve Bearing American Classic 150 for the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series. My name is Raleigh Jacobs. I'm your host for this evening, and we've got special activities coming your way tonight. 2 SK Modified features. In addition, we'll be seeing Pro Stocks and late models, and of course, our big National Featherlight Modified Series event. Right now, though, we want to go trackside because we have something special coming up right now. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask you to all please kindly stand. Presenting our national anthem tonight from American Sleeve Bearing, Al Gerard.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through and the rocket's red glare, the bomb bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is one more presentation we would like to make prior to the start of the event this evening.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, down here at Trackside, we have a very special presentation to make. A gentleman who has done an outstanding job, and the plaque will read as follows. With sincere thanks to Corey Pasacco for your creativity, enthusiasm, and commitment. You are, and always will be, a Team Stafford member. From the Arute family, the Stafford Motor Speedway, August 25th, 2000. Ladies and gentlemen, would you join in with me and the Arute family as we pay tribute to a gentleman who was instrumental in providing some of the creativity that has made Team Stafford such a huge success. Corey Pasacco will be moving on, not leaving us, but he will be moving on. Mark, Lisa, along with Jackson and Robbie, all part of the Team Stafford team, and we're sorry to see you go, but you're never leaving. You got to come back and be a part of all of this because you were a major part of all of this. From all of us, your cohorts, your fellow announcers here, and of course the Arute family, congratulations and much success. You'll do Stafford and all of us proud. Thank you. Plus his name ends in a vowel. Jack isn't going to let that up.
While Mother Nature has interfered with the past 2 weeks' main events, Wayne Bellafleur managed to outrace the raindrops on August 11, winning the Pro Stock 100. While Dennis Botticello led the Pro Stock contention to the green flag, Patrick Crenchman quickly assumed the point in the opening lap of the Pro Stock 100. A lap 6 restart witnessed Botticello overtake Crenchman for the race lead. A lead Botticello would maintain until J.R. Seeger bypassed Botticello on lap 12. While Seeger set a steady pace, others encountered difficulty. From being stuck in the mud, contact with other cars, contact with the retaining wall. The road to the front of the Pro Stock 100 was not an easy one. With the Pro Stock 100 reaching its closing laps, two drivers would decide who would reach CarQuest victory lane. Wayne Bellafleur and Todd Owen waged a fierce battle. But when the rains came just laps from the finish, it was Wayne Bellafleur standing in Pro Stock 100 CarQuest victory lane. Tonight, Wayne Bellafleur, Todd Owen, and nearly 100 others have returned, joining the NASCAR Federal Modified Series in the running of the ASB American Classic. Stafford Motor Speedway Live is next.
To the familiar theme of Shaft. Now it's time for the SK Modified feature number 1 of 2 this evening. And here to handle the play-by-play from East Hartford, Connecticut, and the Journal-Enquirer, it's Matt Buckler. And right alongside from Vernon, Connecticut, Ben Dodd.
Well, thank you very much, Raleigh. Now it's time to bring you 30 of the finest open-wheel modifieds assembled here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. The main auto supply Beretta car number 02 from Bridgeport, Connecticut will start in the 30th spot, car number 02.
Starting 29th in our field, driving car number 82, it is Mike Christopher.
In the 28th starting spot, he'll be taking over this ride from Ellington, Connecticut, car number 95 for Tommy Bowles.
Next in the field, our current point leader. Starting 27th in the field, driving car number 13, Ted Christopher.
We call him the $40,000 man. He's in contention for the big money again, driving the Gateway Limousine, number 57 from Broadbrook, Connecticut, Jerry Marquis.
Next on the grid, in the Able Auto Cavalier, driving car number 36, Mike Moeller.
24 starting spot is car number 2, the Aspinwall Electric Machine from Southold, New York for Richard Clark.
Standing 23rd on the grid in the Empire Paving Incorporated Cavalier, car number 62, driven by Earl Tucker.
Our Chrome Chrome brings us car number 48 out of Milldale, Connecticut for Dale Fifield Jr.
Aboard car number 14 in the Mobile Fleet Services Cavalier, it is Bobby Drown.
Wemmel Associates brings us the 20th starter to the field from Monroe, Connecticut for Larry Ross.
Next on the grid in the Western Auto Cavalier, driving car number 40, it is Ben Adams.
9 rows back to the inside, driving car number 21 from Tolland, Connecticut, it is Scott Johnson.
Next to him in car number 20 in the Richard Chevrolet Grand Prix, it is Sean Triumph.
The number 18 from Windsor, Connecticut will be Jeff Burrill, the Nation Auto USA Special.
Then it's a Darren's Electrical Cavalier for car number 29, Darren Mendito.
DBA Incorporated brings us to 25 from Summers, Connecticut. He'll start 14th for Billy Bolton.
Starting in the 13th position in the J.P. Pullen Drywall LLC Grand Prix, it is car 78 for Chuck Doherty.
12 starting spot goes to the 15 from Lebanon, Connecticut, the TAS Country Homes Machine for Zach Sylvester.
Next door to him in car number 22, the Police Pump Service Grand Prix for Lloyd Agar.
From Port Jefferson, New York, starting 10th, car number 3 for Jeff Malave.
Next door to him in the North End Auto Parts Incorporated Grand Prix, car number 54, driven by Eric Burt.
The Brainerd Racing Enterprises number 98 will start 8th of the grid. The driver is Kurt Brainerd from Canton, Connecticut.
Situated in the 7th starting position in the Arbitel Convenience Store Grand Prix, car number 7 for Willie Hardy.
3 rows back to the outside, car number 85 from Beacon Falls, Connecticut, Eddie Spires.
Hanging out in the number 5 starting position in the Dunkin' Donuts Cavalier, car number 00, driven by James Williams.
Donovan Equipment brings us the number 79 from Needham for Gary Malone. He'll start 4th.
Starting on the inside of the second row in the Close-Up Toothpaste Grand Prix, car number 44 for Frank Wainwright.
And scheduled to start outside of row number 1, driving car number 26, it'll be Bobby Georgiadis.
And the man who will escort the field around, starting on the pole in the reliable Welding and Speed Pontiac, it is car 9 for Brad Hightower.
The field is now set. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the feature event for the SK Modifieds. We'll call it round number 1. The open wheel race cars that have made the Stafford Motor Speedway famous, providing great short track competition. As let's go now to the gentleman who'll be covering the action in turn number 3.
Well, thank you, Ben, and good evening once again, everybody, as we get set for, as Ben just mentioned, round number 1. They'll work off turn number 2 and come down this long back straightaway, 550 feet of back straightaway. They'll work it right here in turn number 3. You need to have a good handle in a race car. If you don't have a good handle in a race car in this position of the speedway, it could be a long evening for you. I'll have all the action from this end of the speedway. Now to pit road and Kim Hart.
We'll cover all the action on pit road along with Tony Sutton.
Tonight is going to be who's got the strength to go 3 races. We've got a number of drivers running 50 laps here, 150 laps in the modified series, and then 50 laps later on. Let's see these guys are true sportsmen. Let's see who's got what it takes to go all in this one.
Well, off turn number 4, the green flag is out and they are underway. Brad Hightower leads the train of heavy hitters down to the bottom of turn 1. Off the second turn, right there, the close-up toothpaste machine looking close as they head down in turn 3.
But right now, here in turn number 3, it's yellow and blue. It's Brad Hytel with car number 9. Nobody's stepping on the line except for one car. That is Georginas. He'll try to swing up to the outside off the corner.
And also Jimmy Williams now making a move in car number 00. He is in third position as there's a battle for the lead.
Off the second turn, trouble now down in turn 1. Larry Ross goes around with car number 23. That'll bring out the first caution of the event. Only one lap in the record books in this 50-lap event. Round number 1 for the SK Modifieds. Just as a lead change was about to take place, Matt, there was a strong bid for the lead as car number 44 was making the challenge early in this event, and that, of course, is Frank Wainwright with a close-up toothpaste machine. Hytella was the early leader.
And Wainwright looked like a Brahma bull coming out of the chute in a rodeo. He really looked determined in the opening lap of this race.
Well, it's a hot, steamy night here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, and the Cool Colada machine is really setting there very coolly in that third spot. We'll keep our eyes on that. There's more to follow. But down on pit road, our pit road reporters are taking a look at the crew chiefs and the teams behind the story there. Let's go down to pit road and see what's happening as the 23 is in the pits early in this event.
Also, Ben, we noticed the 62 of Earl Tucker ended up against the Armco barrier, and you can see they're trying to change that right front wheel. Our reporter's heading down that way. They'll be there momentarily.
Well, here's the story with 2 laps and counting under yellow here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. There have been 2 leaders so far. Brad Hytella was the first leader. It was very short-lived. It didn't complete a full lap, but it was Wainwright who moved there, took over the lead momentarily when the caution flag came out for the Ross machine, car number 23, and that brought out the yellow. Currently, as we set under this caution, it is car number 9 for Brad Hytella. Hytella's had some great runs in this division so far this season, but in the SK Modified division, in 15 events during the 2000 season, there have been 8 different winners in the competition. Ted Christopher, of course, has been the big winner. Kurt Brainerd has won 2. Mike Christopher has won 1, and Willie Hardy has been a factor with Kerry Malone, Jerry Marquis, Zach Sylvester, and Jim Williams. All have tasted the sweets of victory. Matt?
Jerry Marquis in car number 57. This is Matt Buckler in the tower. And how is your car handling here in the first couple of laps?
First couple of laps are caution laps. We're just taking and trying to, bide our time a little bit and try to keep all 4 wheels on. We still got a second feature to run in this deal here, so we're running cautiously, taking it to the front, hopefully, and then hopefully contend for the win. Instead of green next time by.
Well, there's the note from the crew members telling him that next time by, we're anticipating to go back to green. Jerry Marquis, Ted Christopher, and Chuck Doherty are separated by only 6 points with 6 events remaining here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. That's how close the battle is. And believe you me, there is a lot on the line tonight with double features. Raleigh?
You bet, Ben. Now, Howie will like to meet Lori Weibel at the popcorn stand, please. Lori Weibel, please meet Howie at the popcorn stand. Well, our competitors all tightened up and raring to go with 4 laps in the books. Here we go, fellas.
Well, they're paired off in rows of 2. They'll pass beneath Gary Danko as Gary will take a look at them before we go back to green. Gary?
Just about ready to go back to green. Still a lot of the heavy hitters trying to work their way up to the front, such as Jerry Marquis, Teddy Christopher, and a host of other cars trying to work their way up to the front as we're just about set for green.
The decibel level gets higher as the green flag is in the air. Great start for Hytella, but here comes Wainwright on the inside.
It's the ripple effect through the front pack of cars. Here comes car number 7. Hardy is looking hungry. He'll move into the 4th spot. Wainwright makes a bit down in turn 3.
Wainwright tried to take advantage of a slipping car of Brad Hytella. Couldn't get the job done there. He squeezes it back in line off the corner.
Meanwhile, it is Kerry Malone who ducks to the inside. Willie Hardy looks racy, but there's the bid for the lead, Matt, off turn 2.
Wainwright has a power position on the bottom of the track, but does he have enough muscle to get by Hytella?
Wainwright trying to work right to the inside of car number 9. It looks like Wainwright's car's handling tremendously as they have a little bit of contact off the corner.
Well, they're dancing the rumba, but it's time to cha-cha at the front of this field. Out in front is still Hytella. He goes up the hill. Stand off the gas off turn number 4. Trouble down. Leo Bim Adams goes around down in turn 1 as the action shifts back to turn 3.
And the yellow flag comes out with all that dancing around. Somebody had 2 left feet. and wound up against a barrier between turns 1 and 2.
It was Leo Bim Adams who goes around in the first turn to bring out the second caution of the event. Bim Adams started back in the 19 starting spot with car number 40. No luck at all. How close is the competition tonight? There is a heated battle going on because the story is points in the SK Modified division. Who's hot? Teddy Christopher, of course, Chuck Doherty, and Lloyd Agar. Who's cold? Kerry Malone. Point standings, Marquis with 538 over Ted Christopher in second with 536. Chuck Doherty is third with 532 over Willie Hardy with 492, and Kurt Brainerd to round out the top 5.
And Ben, if you like passing, we're going to see it in this race because you have Jerry Marquis, Ted Christopher starting from the back, and also a guy we haven't seen in the SKs very often, Tommy Bowles, but he has 6 wins to his credit, and we'll continue with our action right after this.
You're listening to SMS Live's coverage of the NASCAR SK Modified Division, live from Stafford Motor Speedway.
9 laps now shown as complete with Brad Hietala, who had a lot of problems earlier during practice time, but apparently has things straightened out, holding on to the lead. Let's remind you of our contingency sponsors for our SK Modified division. Thanks to Coors Light, tonight's first place finisher will pick up an additional $150. And our second place finisher will add another $125 to his purse, courtesy of Dillon Ford Sales and Service. New England Racing Fuel Sunoco brand adds another $100 in product for the third place finisher. So those extras for our competitors in SK Modified race number 1, as well as later on in race number 2.
Terry from American Sleeve Bearing, please report to the track office. Terry from American Sleeve Bearing, please report to the track office. Well, with 9 laps showing, we're under yellow here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Second caution to the event. From the starter stand, Tony Leckie tells the field to cross over and double up. Double file restart is going to be the story here. Wainwright's going to try it again on the outside. And Matt, do you think he has enough to be able to pull it off? He's been strong, but it seems to take a little momentum to make him a factor here.
Well, and Hietala has had some momentum in the year 2000. And back on July 14th and July 21st, it seems like a long time ago, but Hietala scored back-to-back second-place finishes. So he is no stranger to running in the front of the field here, and Wainwright is really going to have to get a jump on the restart in order to make a move. As we saw Jeff Malave in car number 3 duck into the pits, and now he is trying to rejoin the field at the rear of the pack.
Malave, an independent runner who comes from Long Island out of Port Jefferson, planning to make the move here to the state of Connecticut very shortly. Malave's got a long way to go to get to the front, but he can become a factor. He has visited Victory Lane back in 1999 and looking to do it again here tonight. Off turn number 4, the Dillon Ford safety vehicle lights are off. Ladies and gentlemen, here they thunder off turn 4. Green, 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 and they're going. And Wainwright's got that big close-up smile working down in turn 1.
That right foot was a jackhammer as he gets the jump on Hietala, and it's a false alarm.
It is. The yellow flag comes out. It's a yellow chaser haunting the green, and that's going to tighten him up again. It was two-picture perfect for Wainwright. A little bit more rambunctious than he should have been. That's going to tighten it all back up. Brad Hietala is the leader, the guy on the inside. Tony Leckie looks at him, and he gives him the indication to say, either do it right in my way or go to the back of the pack. Speaking of going places, let's go back down on pit road.
Well, Bim Adams out of his car looking over. What happened? How'd you wind up on the wall?
I hit something on the track or something in the car just bound up on me. I touched the brake a little bit and went right around.
Well, they've got some front-end damage. Also, I've talked to several crew members, and everyone's telling their drivers, take your time. We've got a lot of racing to do tonight. Now over to Kim with some more.
An update on the number 62 of Earl Tucker. They're welding a Nerf bar. They've got some damage there, and they've got a lower control arm that's broken. So they're working away feverishly. The crew's trying to get it back out for this race. It's a long shot, but definitely for the second feature here tonight, back up to the tower.
Well, here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, it's 7:30. The SK Modified, 12 laps into the record books. There have been 2 cautions. Brad Hietala has been the leader so far. Wainwright is moving in. Williams will become a factor. Stay tuned, as we're about ready to go back to green with 12 of the 50 laps now complete here at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
There was some debris out on the track, and our track safety crew is out there attending to that. I mean, this is, you look at the standings, it's like rush hour traffic on I-84 in downtown Hartford. 3 drivers squeezed in within 6 points of each other. And to make it critical, we're down to the final 5 races of the year 2000. And after tonight, we'll only have 3 SK features left. So this is a stretch drive time. And these drivers know with double features tonight, a hot night in both features, and they can make a trampoline move into the standings.
There's no question about that. Who's on the bubble tonight? Kurt Brainerd, Lloyd Agar, Mike Christopher, Eric Burns, Zach Sylvester, Jim Williams, Kerry Malone, Jeff Malave, and Frank Wainwright. They are at that magical point that tonight's finish could either put them as a factor for the title or eliminate them from being a contender for the 2000 title here in the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series. That bubble could burst for them, Matt, but right now, let's look at the field as they rumble off turn number 4. Paired off in rows of 2. Down to the line they come. Hightower's got things under control. He'll lead them down to turn 1.
So the race restarts on lap 14 with Hightower getting the jump on Wainwright. Side-by-side battle for third between Hardy and Williams.
Hardy up to the outside, the Dunkin' Donuts of Williams to the inside. They battle for that third spot. Right behind them, it's Kerry Malone, and then it's Torchitis and Burke battle for position off the corner.
Throw a blanket over the top 4 cars. That's how close they are. It is a bid for the lead. Brand new leader emerges, Wainwright. Here comes Willie Hardy looking racy to the inside, down to turn 3.
Hardy now will pitch it right down to the inside. Hightower up on the outside. Battle for that second spot. Then they're back in third. It's the Dunkin' Donuts machine of Williams.
And it's Hardy taking over the second spot from Hightower. And now he is going to put some pressure on the back bumper of Frank Wainwright as a yellow comes out, a car stranded between turns 3 and 4.
Trouble up between turns 3 and 4. One car gets up against the Armco barrier, and it appears he's pulling away under his own power.
It is the Darren Mendito Electric Company, number 29, that'll bring out the third caution of the event. We are on lap number 16 under yellow. The leader, of course, is car number 44. There have been only 2 leaders so far. It is Frank Wainwright setting the pace. Willie Hardy in the Arbitel Convenience Stores machine currently sets in second. That's car number 7. With Brad Hightower, the original leader of the event, setting in third with car number 9. Fourth is Jim Williams with the 00, and rounding out the top 5 is Kerry Malone with car number 79.
And as far as the point standings are concerned, Chuck Doherty started 13th. Unofficially, he is now 11th. Jerry Marquis has started 26th. He has moved up to 14th. And right behind him in 15th is Ted Christopher. So the big boys are starting to make some noise in the first 17 laps. Christopher and Marquis freight training their way to the front.
There was no question about that. Willie Hardy is a gentleman who's had one of those seasons that he might like to forget at times. He has been a big factor, run strong up front, tasted the sweets of victory, but on other nights, he has had no luck at all, being eliminated from the competition, meeting with misfortune with mechanical problems, and being right in the wrong place at the wrong time. Tonight, he is wasting no time at all to get to the front. He knows the pressure is on, and he's got a title shot still left in the remaining events of this season.
Well, he's only 42 points out of the lead with 5 races remaining. And when that car is going good, it's one of the fastest in the SK division. And Willie Hardy, I mean, he had one of those seasons, you know, sometimes you're the windshield and sometimes you're the bucket. I think that sums up the 2000 season for Willie Hardy Jr.
It sums it up precisely. Down the back straightaway, they double them all back up. Keep your eyes also on Kerry Malone with car number 79. He's also visited Victory Lane, but right now, let's visit back down on pit road.
Well, real quickly, Jeff Malave, the car is extremely loose. They were looking at all the connections on the suspension in the rear, trying to tighten the car back up. They know they've got 2 races to run. We're about ready to go back to green. Malave with a very loose car.
Well, the conditions here at the Stafford Motor Speedway have changed. It was bright sunshine, hot weather this afternoon. It's cooled down, but the excitement is heating back up and down into turn number 1. A pair of black automobiles duke it out for the number 1 spot. It is Wainwright who leads him on turn 2.
Car number 44 of Wainwright now leads up down, but here comes Willie Hardy. He steps down the line, he looks for H through down low, off the 11, turns it back line, and they work across turn 4.
Well, for Wainwright, it's the equator in that car, and he is top, but here comes Hardy trying to make a move underneath and thinks better of it.
Off that second turn, it'll be a dogfight battle for the lead. Down back straightaway. There's Hardy making a bit down low.
Willie Hardy now trying to zip to the inside. Wainwright says no way. In the meantime, Malami has to, or the car number 7 has to back off the Bravos and work it off the corner.
Another dogfight battle occurring for the third spot. Here comes Williams. The Gulgolana machine is shaken and not stirred in its quest for position number 3 off turn 2.
Down the long back straightaway. Here's a now working turn number 3. Battle for the third spot. It is the Dunkin' Donuts machine, but here comes Jerry Malone now. He'll slip to the inside of Hightower off the corner.
Malone able to squeeze his way into the 4th spot. Now he goes up high and tries to give Williams some trouble for the number 3 position.
While all that's been happening up front, Ted Christopher just pulled the Timex timely move of the night. He went around Marquis like he was stopped. Marquis comes back to life around Spire. Christopher is coming to the front with a vengeance. Marquis is not waiting now. He'll march to the front in the same way.
And meanwhile, at the top of the field, it is still Wainwright with a sturdy lead over Hardy. A good battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, currently owned by Jimmy Williams.
Jimmy Williams now currently running in 3rd with car number 0. Then it's Jerry Malone, and then here comes Eric Byrne. Eric Byrne now looking for Rachel off the corner.
Wilkes now moved into the top 10. He sits currently in 10th. Will he be happy with that? Of course not. The Intimidator is marching to the front of the field. TC Teddy Christopher is looking for some racing room as they head down the back straightaway.
Christopher now trying to duck to the inside of car number 26 of Aubrey, but right in front of Christopher, he fouled the tire check. Kurt Brainerd off the corner.
Ted Christopher putting on a seminar in how to move to the front. He races everywhere, whether it's a heat race or a feature. He races every lap as hard as he can.
Get position number 9 to car number 13. He'll make the move and try to put some pressure on Brainerd as they work their way off turn 4. Inside lane opens up. He'll try on the outside now. Christopher all over the racetrack. He's looking strong down in turn 1.
Meanwhile, leading by a toll call over the rest of the field, it's the combination of Wainwright and Hardy. Hardy tried it again and was unsuccessful.
Off the turn, back down to the line. Here comes Christopher in that bid for the 8th spot. He'll go to the outside. Get position number 8 to car number 13. They bump and they grind through turn number 2. Nobody's giving up an inch here. Down the back straightaway.
The battle, 4-7. Kurt Brainerd to the inside. Ted Christopher working it up to the outside as they run side by side. They touch a little bit as they work it off the corner.
Evenly matched. The dogfight of the battle, growling to get to the front of the field. Here comes Christopher in deep down at turn 1.
When did the battle for 7th ever get this much attention? There goes Christopher storming into 7th.
Speaking of Christopher's, Mike Christopher goes spinning like a top behind the scoreboard. That'll bring out the 5th caution of the event. It'll come out on lap number 29 in this 50-lap event. Mike Christopher goes spinning with car number 82, and that's going to tighten it all back up. This could work to the advantage of Ted Christopher and even to the advantage of Willie Hardy, who sets in second.
Mike Christopher said before the race he had a fast car. He liked his car. What he didn't like was starting in the last row. Now we know why he didn't like it, and we'll be back to see what he does right after this timeout.
Track Facts, taking you inside the numbers, behind the scenes of Stafford Motor Speedway. Now, here is today's Track Fact.
By recording his 3rd Stafford Motor Speedway three-peat on August 4th, Ted Christopher, driver of the automated waste disposal Chevrolet, becomes the 7th driver to score the coveted three-peat on 3 occasions. Christopher now joins Jeffrey Bodine, Ron Bouchard, Richie Evans, Bo Gunning, Greg Sachs, and Bug Stevens, a Stafford Motor Speedway three-peat, 3-timers.
Track Facts, taking you inside the numbers, behind the scenes of Stafford Motor Speedway.
30 of our 50 laps now complete. Keep your eyes on a gentleman who is celebrating a birthday. The number 39-year-old driver, that is, of the number 78 machine, Chuck Doherty. Chuck, married and 4 children, is a Pats fan, also a Mike Stefanik fan, and he's looking to get back in the thick of things in this battle for the point championship. Currently running number 3 behind Markey and Christopher. So keep an eye on the number 78 of Chuck Doherty.
I'd like to ask Ben a question. Before that caution flag, the fastest driver on the track appeared to be Ted Christopher. Do you think this yellow flag helps him because it bunched up the field, or would he have preferred for the race to say green?
Well, you know, Teddy Christopher's picked up the name being the Intimidator, and he does just that. But the SK Modified division has always been a momentum division. Keep the RPMs up and run strong and aggressive. Teddy knows that he needs a few laps to get those RPMs up. He likes to run flat out, wide open, instead of running under caution and tighten back up. Right now, they're beneath Gary Danko, and we'll be going green in just a moment. Gary?
Paired off in rows of two right up front. It's Wainwright and Willie Hardy. We're just about set. Back to the booth.
Okay, let's keep an eye on the starter stand as our pace car heads for Sanctuary in the middle of the infield. Green flag is in the air, and back in front is Wainwright as Hardy gets bumped around in the second position.
Well, the inside lane is looking racy. Give position number 2 to Willie Hardy. Here comes Williams, but there's the yellow again coming out after the green. Apparently, they did not like the start or the looks of the start on the initial. No, it is debris on the racetrack down the front straightaway, Matt, and down into turn number 1. So debris on the racetrack will bring out the yellow. The start was A-OK as the Simpson safety crew will come up and pick up what appears to be a chunk of lead laying on the front straightaway here, just to the right, about 75 feet from the start-finish line.
So we'll go back to green momentarily as our safety crew alertly is on the scene, and we'll take care of that trash and turn along the front stretch and put it in the proper receptacle.
Well, while they're checking with that, let's check in with Jerry Marquis, who's also made up some very valuable ground here in this SK Modified feature. Jerry, this is Ben up in the broadcast tower. You've made up some ground already. Teddy Christopher made a good move to get by in. Do you think he can become a factor and be a contender for the win here?
Yeah, the lane open up for us here. We got to have a little luck on our side right about now. We need a couple cars to move and we'll see what happens. But everybody came in a good job out here tonight.
Well, a little bit of static in the background there. They're going to green here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. If you missed part of all of that, what Jerry said is he needs a couple of brakes to be in the right lane to make the move in the transition. But he also mentioned that Christopher is in sight, and that's not a bad situation.
We needed closed captioning on the Diamond Vision in order to make out what he said that time.
Let's go back down on pit road where they're checking in on all the action there.
Well, real quickly, Brad Hightower's got an evilly loose machine. They're making all kinds of adjustments to it. He started on the pole, very disappointed. I stopped at both Wainwright's, the 44's crew, and Hardy's 7 crew. Neither driver saying much at all. Very happy. Not happy with the restarts, but happy with the way the cars are running. Back upstairs.
Well, everybody's happy in the front row, so let's get everybody happy in the grandstands here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. We're moments away from going back to green. 34 laps to complete in this 50-lap event. Here they come, Matt, off turn number 4, looking for that picture-perfect start. And we're about ready, and we do go back to green.
That picture that time was full of the 44 car of Frank Wainwright as he reestablishes himself in the lead as they blister down the backstretch.
Wainwright showing the way with car number 44, but now car number 7 of Hardy steps on a line, look for race move down low, couldn't quite find the room he needs, he'll squeeze it back in line. In the meanwhile, further on back, a battle for 4.
What a battle it is. Lloyd Agard dances, goes literally like a snake slithering down the front straightaway. He'll pull it back into formation in position number 5. Here comes Burt to the inside. Look at Malone down in 3.
Malone now up to the outside, the Dunkin' Donuts of Williams to the inside. And meanwhile, good battle now for 7th. Eric Byrne and Teddy Christopher. And one car slaps the Armco barrier up between turns 3 and 4.
It is car number 2, Richard Clark, who hit at a ton right in the apex of turn number 3 and 4, and that will bring out the caution. Clark has had no luck at all, Matt. This season he has met with misfortune in an event earlier this season, almost in the exact same location on the racetrack, and that will bring out a red flag situation. With 37 of the 50 laps into the record books, the leader, of course, is the close-up toothpaste machine. Car number 44 for Frank Wainwright. Currently setting in second is Willie Hardy with car number 7, the Arbortel Convenience Stores machine. Rounding out the top 3, it is a 00 of Jim Williams. Setting in the 4th spot is Kerry Malone with the number 79. And setting in position number 5 is car number 22 for Lloyd Agar. 6th spot is Ted Christopher with the number 13. Then it is Eric Byrne with the number 54 in the 7th spot. Then we go to Kurt Brainerd in the 8th position. 9th is Spires unofficially. That's currently how they stand among the top 9 cars, with the Bobby Georgiadis machine setting in position number 10.
So if this race ended in this order, Ted Christopher would be able to take the point lead away from Marquis with 4 laps remaining. Of course, we have 13 laps of this one. A lot of action left, but things are looking good for the driver of car number 13 at this point.
They sure are. And, of course, it's a special night of racing here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. The good folks from American Sleeve Bearing presenting the Classic tonight. But right now, let's go back down on pit road.
Well, Richard Clark is okay. I said, what happened? He said, I don't know, man. The car got a little sideways, and all of a sudden, there was the wall. And he just looked at me and said, I don't know. Also behind the wall, Mike Christopher, the overflow expansion tank on his cooling system actually ruptured, putting hot water all over him in the cockpit. So obviously, he is behind the wall trying to get that fixed. But he's out of the car and the helmet is off. Doesn't look good.
Well, a tough break for him. He's had one of those up and down seasons also that we were talking about earlier. So the safety crew working and re-preparing the racing surface before we're set to go back to green flag competition again. Raleigh, so far we've seen some great racing action, and it'll be a dogfight to the finish.
And how you can count on that. Poor Richard Clark bows out of this one, but the rest of those competitors going gung-ho the rest of the way, but also knowing that they have another race yet to run. So not only trying to get to the front in a hurry, but do it safely so you're around for that second bit of competition. ASB, American Sleeve Bearing, is headquartered right here in Stafford Springs, Connecticut, and is one of the world's fastest growing manufacturers of bronze sleeve bearings. If you'd like to learn more about tonight's sponsor, American Sleeve Bearing, visit them at www.asbbronze.com. Good folks, and we're delighted they are part of our racing program here at Stafford. Now we have a car with lights on, a blue Cadillac Eldorado. Connecticut registration 996POP. That's Connecticut registration 996POP. A blue Cadillac Eldorado. Your lights are on. Now let's get this update.
Talking to Tony Sutton earlier, he's telling us that a lot of the crews are telling their drivers to calm down. I visited a few of the drivers and their crews in the pits earlier just to give you kind of an idea of their state of mind. Talking to Chuck Doherty's team, he said they're not under as much pressure as Teddy Christopher and Jerry Marquis. They found themselves in this position in the points third by surprise. They did not expect to be there. He said he's learning something every week, so they're more prepared this week after running the double features before. A note on that birthday, you said he was 39. He told me that he's celebrating the 10th anniversary of his 29th birthday, so just to update you on that. Now, Teddy Christopher's team, here you have a guy who's going for his 4th SK Modified race win in a row. He's going for a Touring Modified win, 3rd in a row. You have to wonder, is he stressed? Is he under pressure? His crew tells me, heck no. He's really laid back. The whole crew is really laid back. They've been doing this for so long, doesn't bother him a bit. Now, Jerry Marquis, he's been pretty lucky. He's had some good finishes right behind Teddy Christopher in the Touring Modified races, and of course doing very well here at Stafford. But he does know that to stay ahead in the points here at Stafford, he is going to have to win. So I imagine the pressure is on Jerry Marquis, although the crew says they're just having a blast doing so well this season. Back up to the tower.
Well, thank you very much. We're going to send Tony Sutton on a mission. Kerry Malone, car number 79, who was among the fastest cars on the racetrack. That car is pulled behind pit road. The 79 is setting with the hood off it just in front of the Diamond Vision screen. We'll send Tony Sutton down in that direction to give us a report. Zach Sylvester had a problem on the last start and dropped way off the pace. He is looking to return to the hunt. And also in the pit area is Brad Hytella with car number 9. Matt, it looks like we're about ready to go back to green flag racing, 39 and counting here at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
It's been one of the best races of the season for Frank Wainwright in car number 44. He hasn't had a top 10 finish in the last 7 weeks, but Willie Hardy has thrown his best shots at him, and so far the car number 44 has been unscathed.
Down the back straightaway, car number 9 has come to a screeching halt. That's the Hytella machine in front of the Zach Sylvester race car. The yellow comes back out. They were about ready to go back to green, but unfortunately now we're going to go one more time around to work the cars from side to side, keeping a little bit of heat in the tires. Let's go back down on pit road.
Well, we've caught up with Kerry Malone. Kerry, what happened? The car's behind the wall, not a place you normally would like to be.
No, we were just getting the car to come into its own, and under that caution, the left rear brake bracket broke, and it's the second caliper we've lost in 2 weeks. We don't know what's going on with them, but We're going to fix it and get it back out there. Hopefully we'll have a little better luck in the second race.
You've got the parts to fix the car?
Yeah, we do.
Kerry Malone with a kind of odd incident, a broken brake caliper during the caution period. Unbelievable. Back upstairs.
Well, that's the way it is. Sometimes your luck just does not, doesn't remain on your side. But Kerry Malone sounded positive, and he'll be very strong in round number 2, coming up a little bit later in this American Sleeve Bearing presentation here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. We are still under a yellow flag situation. There is more debris on the racetrack, we believe, as the Simpson safety crew is coming back out to check the racing surface. Another chunk of lead has come out from beneath one of the automobiles and is being picked up trackside. Let's go back down to pit road.
An update on Zach Sylvester. The reason why he's off the pace is because he's overheating. When he gets in traffic like this, as you know, the cars don't get any air, so they're having a problem with the fan. His crew chief is telling him to stay back a little bit, finish out the race, and try to keep the car cool. Back up to the tower.
Well, it's tough to keep the car cool when you're a young driver and you're full of hot aspirations of running up front and being a contender. He's already tasted the sweets of victory and proved that he is worthy of that with a second-place podium finish a few weeks back as well. Right now, we're ready to do it one more time down into turn number 3, as Gary Danko will take a look at the field as they head in his direction down in turn 3.
Well, thank you, Ben. Once again, they're paired off in rows of 2, but sitting in that 6th position, TC Teddy Christopher with car number 13. I've been watching that car very closely. The car has been handling very well. It doesn't matter if it's to the inside or to the outside. We'll see if Christopher, what's going to happen on this restart, if the outside will be to his advantage. Gentlemen?
Here they come off turn number 4. Place your bets now. Will it be Wainwright, who's been so strong, or will it be Willie Hardy? Hardy is hungry for this one. Off the turn, down to the line they come into turn number 1.
It is Wainwright again, pouncing on the lead. Hardy has to settle for second, and look on the outside, it's Agar to challenge.
Agar now steps on the line, sweeps up right to the outside of Willie Hardy, right here in turn number 3. Hardy down to the inside. Here comes car number 22, once again on the outside, battle for position.
Lloyd Agar looks racy, takes over second. Look out, here's the tail that wags the dog. It is TC Ted Christopher. He'll take a bite out of position number 3. Hardy's on the bottom, down in turn 3.
That is the battle for third right here in turn number 3. Christopher's up to the outside. Hardy's down to the inside. The two come together. One car goes around.
It is Wainwright who goes around with a little tap on the back bumper by the Lloyd Agar machine, and that is going to bring out another caution. Car number 44 wants the leader of the event. Rap, tap, tap to the bumper, and we've got the leader around down in turn number 4.
And he goes from the lead to the 4 side of town. In the back of the pack, it looked like contact between him and the 22 car of Agar, as the first 4 cars could almost have fit inside a hula hoop on that one.
No question about that. Let's go back down on pit road.
Well, Chuck Doherty in the 78 car experiencing a flat tire, whether it was from that incident or not. He is trying to get into the pits to get that tire changed. Dragged that rim all the way around from between turns 1 and 2 on pit road right now. Doherty with a flat tire.
Well, Doherty comes onto pit road as the red flag is out at the entrance of pit road, and that is going to be very costly for the driver of car number 78. Lloyd Agar currently your leader. 45 of the 50 are now into the record books. Willie Hardy currently sets in second. Ted Christopher, the Mystique number 13 in the 3rd spot, and Jim Williams sets in position number 4 with car number 00. Then it's Eric Burnt in position number 5. 6th spot looks like the Georgiades machine, with Brainerd in the 7th spot. 8th is Jerry Marquis. 9th position is Eddie Spires, and rounding out the top 10 looks like Billy Bolton with car number 25. Wainwright pulls into formation to the inside of Jerry Marquis. Perhaps Wainwright, Matt, is looking to head down on pit road.
That appears to be his destination as our field comes around to turn 3. No, he wants his, he moves to the front in back of Agar, so we'll see what happens there.
But down on pit road, we've got another car heading in. It looks like it is the black number 62, and that, of course, is Earl Tucker, who has been in and out of the pits early in this event. Meanwhile, the field being told to go into single file formation when it comes to the Wainwright machine, to go to the back of the field. Everybody else is doubling up. So the Lucky Lawns machine, well, not that lucky here tonight.
And he looked like he had a good shot for his first win of the season. Instead, he took a shot, and now he's in the back of the pack. What's going to happen in our final 3 laps? You have Agar, who really looked very aggressive.
He sure did. He really looks strong. Teddy Christopher has passed the most cars on the racetrack currently. He is right there as a factor to the inside of that second row. And never count out Willie Hardy. He is always a strong runner here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Jim Williams has tasted the sweets of victory. They're long overdue and hungry in some cases. Let's see what's going to happen as we're looking to go back to green in turn 4.
So the pressure cooker is about to begin. 3 laps to go when they hit the stripe. The pace car heads to the center of the infield, and now our SK Modified competitors are ready to take center stage. Green flag is in the air, and there goes Agar.
Down into turn number 1, Lloyd Agar leads the charge. Christopher glued to his back bumper as they head off turn 2.
Down the back straightaway, it's Lloyd Agar with car number 22 that shows the way. Then a good battle for second. Christopher to the inside and right up to the outside. It's car number 7, but now car number 7, Hardy, falls back to third. Good battle, fourth on back.
Agar opens up a little bit of a cushion between himself and Christopher. Agar hanging into third as they barrel down the backstretch.
Trouble now down to turn 1. Ross goes around.
Ross took a heck of a shot there, I believe, by the Moeller car.
Yep, and it is Burrill who stopped to the top side of the racetrack. That's going to bring out the yellow just as things were really getting heated up here in the closing laps of this event. 48 laps are complete of the 50 laps. 9 cautions are into the record books as Raleigh will be back to green very shortly.
Well, certainly another tough break for Larry Ross. It's been a disappointing season for he and his crew, and certainly this adds to it tonight. Dave Duskus, would you please report to the main gate of the Speedway? Dave Duskus, to the main gate of the Speedway, please. Well, we're into, once again, Ben, that familiar situation we've seen so many times this year of a green-white checker situation.
It sure is, and of course it's a double file restart right to the end, and Matt, you can use that classic line.
Double file will make you smile, especially when there's 2 laps to go on an SK Modified feature. You know, Lloyd Agar, probably the last 10 laps of this race, he has owned the festivities. However, we said many times at Stafford, you're only as good as your last restart, and now, as an added bonus, he gets to start alongside Ted Christopher for the first time, so the plot is about to change.
It sure is. In row number 2, it's just as strong. We've got Willie Hardy. Alongside of him is Jim Williams. 3 rows back, it'll be Kurt Brainerd, and it'll be Eric Burt with car number 54. Jerry Marquis has been a factor, but not a contender so far. It is going to be a dash for the cash here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. This is only round number 1 for the SK Modifieds. They'll be coming out in their second feature event of the night. The Larry Ross machine, which was the car that Matt referred to, is getting hit at a ton down into turn number 1. Ross, a veteran driver who came up from the ranks from the old Danbury Race Arena, very consistent driver over the years, has almost a perfect attendance record competing here at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
A perfect attendance record except in one spot. The winner's circle. He's never won a race here at Stafford, and he's been a competitor ever since the SK division was formed in 1982.
It is an interesting story, too, in the world of high-tech transporters that bring race cars to and from the racetrack. His race car is still brought a traditional short-track way in the back of the old school bus that is painted up the yellow, black, and orange. It still gets the job done in the world of big-dollar transporters, tractor-trailer trucks, and much, much more.
Well, at least it's not the 20 mule team or something like that. He's a little more modern than that. Ben, you've seen many restarts here, and you know the strengths and weaknesses of both Lloyd Agar and Ted Christopher. Maybe you can handicap this one, and does somebody have the advantage here?
You know, I really think that Teddy Christopher is going to have the advantage. Momentum, again, is the story here. He's on the outside. That's where he wants to be in the restart. Lloyd Agar is very strong. We know that the starters and all the officials are going to be keeping on top of that situation to make sure it is a good start. Speaking of good starts, there's a lot of action being started up down on pit road.
Got a chance to talk to Chuck Doherty's team, and they changed the tire and he's back out. He has no damage, so that's the good news. Sitting third in points, that's pretty important that he gets a good, clean finish in this race heading into the next one. On a side note, talking to the teams on how they prepare for 2 features in one night, Bridget Poulin, of course, one of the owners, told me they make double desserts in the trailer back up to the tower.
Oh, that's what we need up here in the tower, Kim. right to our waist. There's no question about all of that. 50 laps now complete, Raleigh, on the scoreboard. They're still working down in turn number 2. Double desserts.
I'm sure one of them is a birthday cake for Chuck, too. Well, let's see how it all turns out here with this green-white checker business. But it's going to be interesting. Now, don't forget, this is just a sample of the excitement you can enjoy on Friday nights. NASCAR 2000 continues next Friday night, Extra Mart night. That's September 1st. On deck next Friday will be a late model doubleheader, plus main events for the SK Modifieds, Pro Stocks, and also the Dare Stocks. Plus a giant aerial fireworks display. That's next Friday night, September 1st. Great way to kick off your Labor Day weekend.
It sure is, and a lot of the kids going back to school, so a great way to celebrate. Matt, let's check in with another one of our drivers.
Let's try to get a word with Eric Burton, car number 54, currently running 5th. Eric, this is Matt in the tower, another green-white checker. What's your strategy on this occasion?
Trying to make it to the end, try not to get tangled up with nobody. Hoping to finish, if we can get a top 5, that'll be great. If not, we'll have to settle for what we got.
Well, there's a kid, Matt, with a ton of talent. Graduated from quarter midget racing, where he won just about everything he ever entered in. He's already had some great runs this season, taking down victories at other facilities like the Waterford Speed Bowl. But, Raleigh, it looks like we're doubling them back up, and we should be going back to green in just a moment.
Wow, love these shootouts. Something else. Here we go, folks. Hang on to your hats. Meanwhile, Terry from American Sleeve Bearing, see the finish of this race, and then please report to the main office. Terry from American Sleeve Bearing to the main office when you can, please. As quickly as you can.
Well, it's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. We're on lap number 50 in a 50-lap event. There has been a caution late in the event. Christopher moves alongside of Lloyd Agar. Agar, of course, is running strong, but Christopher could be a factor here. Double file restart has always been the story here at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
There's no question about that. The best way to start a race and the most exciting, both for the drivers and for the fans. As the pressure is about to intensify here, 2 laps to go in our green-white checker scenario. Let's take a look at the pace car. It is heading for the infield, Ben.
Off turn number 4, Agar stands on the throttle. Look at DC on the outside. Shot out of a cannon there, wheel to wheel to the bottom of turn 1. Agar drifts up the hill. Here comes DC back in turn 3.
Teddy Christopher now right on the back bumper of Lloyd Agar right here in turn number 3. A shot to the bumper. And meanwhile, Hardy's in 3rd, and then it is car number 96 of Prater off the corner.
Well, they're jumping up and down in the aisles here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Christopher goes high. Now he looks down low. Off turn 2 and back down to turn 3.
Final time down here in turn number 3. Lloyd Agar shows the way. Teddy Christopher now steps on the line. He'll try to work up to the outside. Can't get the job down there. Now he'll dive it right down to the bottom side off of 4.
Christopher trying on the outside, can't do the job. Agar is going to win it.
Lloyd Agar will take down the victory. Christopher gives it his all. He has him jumping up and down to the seats here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, but he'll have to finish in the runner-up spot. Podium finish for the number 7 of Willie Hardy. Brainerd will finish in the 4th spot, and unofficially in position number 5, it looks like Jerry Marquis, Mr. Consistency, will have a top 5 finish here. But what an exciting finish. No question about it, Matt. Teddy Christopher gave Lloyd Agar a run for the money.
But Agar did what you have to do in the last 2 laps of a race, and that is protect your turf. That's exactly what he did, and he's a deserving winner of this 50-lap feature.
Well, the guy who had the best seat in the house to watch was Gary Danko, who was covering the action down in turn 3. Boy, it was pretty hairy over there at turn 3, Gary.
No question about it, Ben. Ted Christopher tried to work up to the outside, and then you saw it when he tried to, coming on for the checkered flag, he tried to dive down off of turn number 4. But what can you say? Lloyd Agar certainly had a great race car. He was a contender all night long. It didn't matter who was up front. He could contend with them, and he did, and he beat the best when he beat Teddy Christopher, who finished 2nd, and also a tip of the cap to Willie Hardy. He certainly had a strong run here tonight.
Well, Hardy ran a very cautious race, Matt. You could see that in the latter laps of the race. He was a factor, but he didn't want to use up that race car. He knew the importance of the 2nd SK Modified feature event that is just around the corner.
Also, keep something in mind. In the last 2 laps, Jerry Marquis went from 7th to 5th, picking up 2 spots. Those might be 2 very important spots as we go to the final 4 races of the season and to the track championship.
And hats off to Lloyd Agard. He's worked very hard this season. Let's go down to CarQuest Victory Lane and meet our winner.
Let's hear a great big congratulations for Lloyd Agar, his first win in the year 2000. A very excited crew down here. He's getting his picture taken, taking the steering wheel off, taking a moment to just breathe this in. This moment here in CarQuest Victory Lane is a very special one, drinking some of that Crystal Rock. He's got a long night ahead of him, and this is a great way to start it. Come on out of there, Lloyd Agar. We want to talk to you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for another winner here in the year 2000 here at Stafford Motor Speedway. There we go. Come on around so we can get a word with you. Quite an exciting finish there. First of all, congratulations on your first win in the year 2000.
Thanks. It's a long time overdue. It's been a tough year. I owe this one to my motor builder. He did the job for us this week. Thanks, Billy. You're the best, man.
Now, knowing that Teddy Christopher was going for 4 in a row, he could taste it. You could feel him breathing down your back there at the end. Tell me about those last few laps, that green-white checker.
With Ted, it doesn't matter if it's 10 in a row or 1 in a row. Ted drives the same way every race. He's out to win every race. Can't take anything away from him for that. He's an awesome driver.
Now, with another event coming up, obviously this is the place you want to be. The car's good and in one place. What's the strategy going into the second race tonight, Lloyd? Can you do 2 in a row like Teddy did last time?
I think we can. We got to make a few changes. It wasn't quite right this race, but I think we can get there again.
Congratulations to Lloyd Agar finding victory lane for the first time in the year 2000. Let's go back to Tony Sutton as he talks to our second place finisher.
Well, as Lloyd said, Ted Christopher never wanting to finish second. Ted, congratulations on a podium finish. I know you wanted to win this thing, but man, what a great drive to come from mid-pack.
Last time I looked, I was in the back of the pack. I don't know where you were, Tony.
Well, during the third restart, you were mid-pack. But anyway, well, I mean, a great drive, and like we talked about earlier, you've been having just a terrific year this year.
No, yeah, it's been a great year. You know, it's good to come from last there to second was good. You know, it helps us in the regional deal. We end up taking over the points now here at Stafford, and hopefully the next 50 lapper in the tour race, we can get a couple wins there.
I know you got a lot to do tonight. You got 2 more races to run. We'll let you go. Congratulations on second place.
All right, thank you very much.
Now to Kim with our third place finisher.
We're here with a happy young gentleman. You really have had an awesome season, but it's been an up and down one. How does it feel to be here third tonight up on the podium finish?
It feels pretty good. We've had a rough few weeks, and to bring her back in third, we got 1 more race to go. We're doing all right. I think we'll get back in the pits, do a little tuning and tweaking, give them something in the second one.
Did you learn anything in this race that you can apply to the next one?
Oh, yeah, I learned quite a bit. You know, every time you go down the racetrack, you know, you should learn something. If you don't, then, you know, you're not going to get anywhere. The boys taught me a thing or two still. We'll see what we have for them in the second one. We got to thank Billy the Kid for the awesome motor, Johnny from the Transmission Clinic for the training, and Mike Paquette for the chassis, and Arbitel and Wellington Pizza, S&D Services, Cornerstone Construction, all those guys for helping me out.
Nice try. Well, you got to get back down to podium finish to finish the rest of those. Willie Hardy, very happy to be in third here tonight. Now to Tony Sutton for a wrap-up of this event.
Well, like we talked about at the start, this is going to be a marathon night for a lot of drivers. Some of these guys are going to have to run over 250 laps this evening in order to qualify, in order to finish all these races. It's obvious everyone wants to win. It was obvious in the beginning that nobody was holding back the way we thought they would. The question is, who's going to be able to make up the difference come the second 50-lapper, and who's going to have the strength to run the modified series and then jump back into their SK car? It's going to be exciting. Back upstairs.
All right, thank you very much, Tony. As victory lane ceremonies have concluded down track side, going to recap the top 10 quickly for you. Lloyd Agar taking down the race win here this evening in the first SK Modified feature event of the evening. Ted Christopher, Willie Hardy, Kurt Brainerd, and Jerry Marquis rounded out the top 5.
6 through 10 looked like this. It was Eric Burnt, Ken Aubrey, James Williams, Ed Spires, and rounding out your top 10, Billy Bolton.
We come back with our 40-lap Pro Stock feature event coming up next.
Today's in-car radio reports are brought to you by Marcus Communications and Electronics of Manchester, Connecticut. Call Marcus Communications and Electronics toll-free at 1-800-833-7724 or look for their ad on the back of today's Pit Stopper magazine.
30 cars and drivers looking to take the green flag for 40 laps of Pro Stock action here this evening, and this is the way they're scheduled to post.
Starting back in 30th position, driving car number 2, it's the Keystone Automotive for Carl Holmgren Jr.
Then it is car number 52 from Waterbury, Connecticut. It is the Industrial Riggers Chevrolet for Mark Farino.
Starting 28th, driving car number 26, in the Expertise Pontiac, it's Scott Booley.
Car number 21 rolls off next from Agawam, Massachusetts, the Chartier's General Chevrolet for Don Chartier.
Going from position number 26, driving car number 4, it's the TIG Welding Pontiac for Jason Moore.
25th starter, car number 05 from Andover, Connecticut, the Sound Advice Fire Chevrolet for Nelson Barbo.
Rolling off 24th, driving car number 07 from Agawam, Massachusetts, in the Tom O'Sullivan Welding Machine, it's Tom Rosati.
23rd starter, car number 36 from Ashford, Connecticut, the AB SAP Dodge for Al Fredette.
Back in the 22nd position, driving car number 6, and the Guida's Dairy Homa Supercar Dodge, it is Rob Valerio.
21st starter, car number 00. This is the driver of Tony Membrino from Waterbury, Connecticut.
Starting 12th, driving car number 12, it's the Schmidt Sales and Service Chevrolet for Jeff Lugenbuehl.
Car number 1 rolls off in 19th from Ellington, Connecticut, the Porter and Chester Pontiac for Rich Vassar.
Starting 18th, driving car number 81, it's the Cable Construction Cook Chevrolet Monte Carlo for Todd Owen.
17th starter, car number 16 from Wellington, Connecticut, the Davidson Company Pontiac for Wayne Bellafleur.
Starting in the 16th position, driving car number 92, it's the Waste Management Chevrolet for Tom Fern.
Rolling off 15th, car number 10 from Milford, Connecticut, the American Sleep Bearing Chevrolet for Doug Kobe.
Position number 14 brings us car number 08, the Tom O'Sullivan Welding Chevrolet for Mike O'Sullivan.
Car number 01 to roll off in 13th from Bethany, Connecticut, the Extra Mart Convenience Stores Chevrolet for Jim Mavlijanis.
Car number 85 will start back in the 12th spot, and that car is driven by Gary Pelletier in the Aladdin Pelletier Siding Chevrolet.
Then it is car number 39 from Summers, Connecticut, the sponsor wanted Chevrolet, driven by Matt Bouchard.
Position 10 brings us car number 27. It's the Sandberg Construction Chevrolet for John Sandberg.
9th starter, car number 3. It's the ENS Gauge Chevrolet for J.R. Seeger.
Starting 8, driving car number 09. It's the Brightside Incorporated Chevrolet for Jay Miller.
7th starter, car number 30 from Southampton, Massachusetts, the Smith Boilers Ford for Johnny Lobo.
Starting 6, driving car number 60. It's the
But these fellas will battle it out. 5 of them will qualify for our second SK Modified feature. Starting in the 10th position will be the 62 of Earl Tucker, the Empire Paving Cavalier.
Right next door in car number 40, the Western Auto Chevrolet of Leo Bim Adams.
Then we move to the number 8 machine, the Best Auto Parts entry, that driven by Joe Zarnecki.
4 rows back in the 7th starting position will be car number 20 for Sean Tryon.
And moving to the outside of the 3rd row, it's the number 2 machine for Richard Clark in the Aspinwall Electric entry.
Darren Bandito will start this event from the 5th starting spot in car number 29.
Then we go to local driver Harry Wheeler. He drives the number 17, the Gaston Motorsports Cavalier.
Bobby Drown will start 2nd row on the inside in position number 3 with car number 14.
And outside the front row, scheduled to drive in this one, will be Chuck Zervis aboard the number 95.
And starting on the pole, Raleigh, will be car number 36 for Mike Moyer.
All right, that's your field. 5 to make the move up, so this is a big race for these fellas trying to make that field for the final one. Sean Tryon suffered severe damage to the front end of the number 20 earlier tonight in our first SK Modified feature, and he's unable to make it out, so a tough break for Sean. Sorry not to see him out, a young driver who's been improving very, very well. He had just picked up new sponsorship from Richard Chevrolet and MD Amstead Associates, so he wanted very much to be out here. Just 18 years of age, he's an equipment operator, but unable to make it out for this SK Modified qualifier. So hopefully they'll be back again next week.
The reason for that, Raleigh, is I guess they had a bad crash in practice, although Sean was fine.
Yes.
The car unfortunately wasn't, therefore he'll be back with us hopefully again next week.
Yes, I said first feature. I meant to say in practice earlier, yes. Now then, we took a quick bit of statistical work on our hands and figured out the top 6 in the SK Modified division as a result of the first feature tonight. And now it's Ted Christopher leading the way in the point standings. He has 584 unofficially to Jerry Marquis' 580. Chuck Doherty, as a result of his 13th place finish, now stands at 558, 26 behind our leader. Willie Hardy is in 4th place at 538, then at 508, Kurt Brainerd, and as a result of his win, Lloyd Agor in 6th place now has 476 points. So those are the way the SK Modifieds stand going into our second feature a little bit later on, Bruce.
And I'll tell you what, it's certainly going to be exciting if it's half as exciting as the first one was.
You bet. We sure would like to welcome the Fidelco Guide Dog Foundation to tonight's ASB American Classic. For more information on the only guide dog training school in New England, you have to visit www.fidelco.com. And certainly, we sure do welcome the good folks from American Sleeve Bearing. They are fine people who make a very fine product. In fact, they've become one of the world's leading manufacturers of bronze sleeve bearings. That's right. To learn more about American Sleeve Bearing, visit them at www.asbbronze.com. That's all there is to it. All set to go now, Bruce. Here they come.
8 cars, 5 will transfer to tonight's 50-lap second SK Modified feature rally as a pace car gets ready to exit turn number 4. The Dylan Ford Mustang pace car will take a hard left off of 4. Mike Molier will lead the field down, and he does so in fine fashion. He rockets out to the lead over in turn number 1. Zervis protects the inside, and also second spot. Dogfight off turn number 2 between the 14 of Bobby Drown and Zervis. Zervis pulls back in line out in turn number 3.
Moeller really setting a hot pace here. There he comes off the turn. Harry Wheeler drifts up into the loose stuff, but manages to salvage it, bring it back in line, does not lose a position. Now he closes in on Bobby Drown in the light blue number 14, but working down on the low side, Darren Mendito in the 29 takes over the number 4 spot from Wheeler, and he's followed by the 40 of Bim Adams.
Bim Adams looks to the inside of Wheeler now. Adams a little bit loose off of turn number 4, pulls up alongside and tries to grab the spot. That's the 5th and final qualifying spot, Raleigh.
Yes, sir. This is the qualifier for our second SK Modified feature. The top point men automatically entered, so a big battle going on here. Moeller still with a comfortable lead, but here comes Zervis trying to close the gap. Brown hanging on to 3rd. Zarnecki makes it 3 wide down the front stretch. The white number 8 to the inside, but can't quite make the move. Makes contact with Bim Adams, and they both go around. Let's see if they're both able to continue. Adams sits stalled at the moment, and we'll keep an eye on that situation as well as the flag stand. And apparently Adams cannot refire, so the caution does come out with 3 laps shown complete.
So once again, Raleigh, 3-lap show on the on the Stafford Motor Speedway scoreboard. Mike Molier in car number 36 continues to lead this event with 3 laps in, as we said. Bobby Drown is in second. Make that the number 95 of Zervis. I don't know, he seemed to drop off the pace there for a second. Now here he comes back up to second spot. So put Zervis back up to second. The 14 of Bobby Drown in 3rd. 4th is Darren Mendito in car number 29. And the car on the bubble currently is car number 62 for Earl Tucker.
Okay, so our field now shaping up. Bim Adams will pick up at the rear of the field.
There should be, Raleigh, a relatively short caution as starter Tony Leckie signals the field 1 to go, and the cross flags, which indicate a start next time by as the cars pull up 2 by 2 by 2 as they follow the Dylan Ford Mustang pace car over in turn number 1.
Okay, we'll get ready for this one with the 5 laps yet to go. With the crew of the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series number 03, please report to the car at this time. The crew for the 03 machine, please report to your car at this time. That's the Modified Series number 03. Your crew is requested to report to the car immediately. Okay, we still have all 8 cars in the action. So we shall see now how it all goes.
Once again, 5 cars will transfer to tonight's second 50-lap SK Modified event, immediately following the American Sleeve Bearing 150 here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Molier once again sets the pace with car number 36. Raleigh, a couple of weeks ago, Jerry Marquis had the opportunity to take his car to a 5th place finish. So you know the car does have the... And we go back to green. Molier once again, and Zervis looked like he rubbed the wall over here on the front straightaway as he seemed to drop off the pace just a little bit. Tucker looks to the inside. That is for the 4th spot. Tucker now takes the spot, and Adams, and we've got cars all over the back straightaway. Tough break for Earl Tucker in car number 62. Basically a victim of circumstance as we now find ourselves in our second caution here on lap number 3.
Heavy front end damage to the 62. You can see the black marks all along the backstretch wall where Tucker rubbed along and then made contact just past the entrance point. Another black mark there, so heavy front end damage to the 62, and that will be the end of his bid tonight. Certainly it's been a bad night for Earl Tucker and the crew, as they've been involved in 2 heavy incidents during the course of the evening.
Unofficial Pro Stock results for you right now. The 28 of Dennis Botticello, once again your winner. 85 of Gary Pelletier was second. Third was the 60 of Glenn Griswold. Todd Owen in car number 81 was in fourth. And rounding out your top 5 was the 01 of Jim Oblojanis. Sixth spot, the 39 of Matt Bouchard. Seventh, the 92 of Tom Fern. Jim Banfield in car number 13 was 8th. Ninth was Mark Farino in car number 52. 10th was Doug Colby in car number 10. 11th, J.R. Seeger. 12th, the 30 of Johnny Lobo. 13th, Jay Miller in car number 09. The 76 of Rob Valerio was 14th. 15th was Jeff Connors in car number 8. 16 through 20 shape up like this. The 00 of Tony Mambrino. The 48 of Patrick Kretschmann. The 21 of Don Chartier. 19th was Rich Vassar in car number 1. And the 26th car of Scott Bully rounded out your top 20. 21 through 25 were Jeff Bougainville, Al Fredette, Tom Keller, Wayne Bellafleur, and John Sandberg. 26 through 30 were the 07 of Tom Rosati, Nelson Borbo, Carl Holmgren Jr., Mike O'Sullivan, and car number 4 of Jason Moore rounds out your top 30. So there you have it, the unofficial results for your Pro Stock feature.
So as a result of all that, Jim Oblojanis holds on to the top spot in points, but Todd Owen takes over the number 2 position as a result of his finish, and Doug Colby being 10th. Wayne Bellafleur falls a little further off the pace, and Matt Bouchard right up there in contention for the number 4 position. So that's unofficially the way they stand as a result of tonight's Pro Stock feature. Well, on the lift goes the number 62, front and rear end damage to that car. And wow, it'll be a couple minutes now. Our sweeper going to work to see what we can do to get things squared away as quickly as we possibly can.
If there was a benefit at all from that last caution, it was for car number 40 for Bim Adams, who unfortunately was part of that previous caution on lap number 3. The 40 of Leo Bim Adams is now back up to the 5th spot, right behind Harry Wheeler in car number 17.
Now we have 12 prizes to give away as a result of the lucky numbers in our Pit Stopper magazine. We urge you to break them out at this time, and we'll read off some of the winning numbers for you. If your numbers are called, pick up your prize at the Speedway office before you depart tonight. Thanks to the good folks at Fidelco Guide Dog Foundation, they've added quite a few prizes to our list tonight. So here we go. The first lucky numbers of the evening: 98400, 98400. Next, 98408, 98408. Also, 97577, 97577. Also, 98524, 98524. Also, 98506, 98506. Additionally, 98517, 98517. Other winners are 98440. That's 98440. Also 98427, 98427. We'll have the balance of the numbers for you a little bit later on. But right now it's time to go back to racing. 3 down and 5 to go to determine the final 5 qualifiers for our second SK Modified feature later on.
And once again, Moyer sets the pace with car number 36. Now, if this happens again, Raleigh, we would lose one car. We will automatically go back to a red checker situation. But once again, we don't anticipate that. And as Raleigh once mentioned, 3 laps down, 5 to go. Moyer sets the pace off of turn number 4. We go back to green. Starter Tony Leckie lets him fly. And Moyer leads the field down into turn number 1. Bobby Drown comes up alongside, but look who comes out of nowhere. Car number 29 for Darren Mendito. Mendito pulls up alongside Drown. He takes along the 40 car of Bim Adams. The field works off of turn number 4 and heads towards you, Raleigh.
Here they come, with Moeller stretching out his lead again over Mendito. But Bim Adams has intentions. He's looking for a way around Mendito. Here they come out of turn 2. It's still Darren holding that second spot in the 29 car. but the orange machine of Bim Adams now goes to the outside, seeing if he can do it that way. Off the turn they come. Moeller leads the way, but here comes Adams, and he takes over the second spot at the line.
He did. He had that spot by about a bumper or so. The cars barely touch, and side by side as if they were glued together off of turn number 2. Adams able to break free. Starter Tony Leckie way up top the starter stand with the popsicle sticks. This time off of turn number 4. Boyer gets real loose. 2 laps to go past the stripe.
Can Moeller hang on? Bim Adams is coming on strong. Here he goes. They touch wheels. Out of the turn they come, and it's Adams as the new leader. Moeller second, but he's getting a challenge now from the 29 of Mendito. Meanwhile, the white flag is about to wave for Adams. Here they come off the turn. The battle is for second with Adams stretching out his lead, and they're side by side at the line in the battle for the number 2 position. Right now, the bubble spot being held by Joe Zarnecki in the 8 car. Harry Wheeler trying to see what he can do to get that spot away. Here they come now, final circuit, and Bruce, they'll come to the line.
They certainly do. Bim, who had an awful start in the first feature, finds himself a winner in this one. By the line, it's Adams, Mendito, Moeller, Bobby Drown, and 5th and final qualifier for tonight's second SK Modified 50-lap feature will be car number 8, Raleigh, for Kevin Zarnecki.
And so it is now official for the first of 2 SK qualifiers. We have another one coming up. As you know, we had a tremendous turnout of cars for the SK division this evening. So they'll motor on out, and we'll see who can handle it in the second SK qualifier. Don't forget now, next Friday night, we continue with our NASCAR Weekly Racing Series here at Stafford with Extra Mart Night. That's right, next Friday, September 1st. We'll have a late model doubleheader plus main events for the SK Modified, Pro Stock, and Dare Stock divisions, as well as a giant aerial fireworks display. Next Friday night, September 1st, we hope you'll be able to be on hand. Good turnout tonight of folks from American Sleeve Bearing for the ASB American Classic coming up very shortly. American Sleeve Bearing, proud sponsors of Rick Fuller in the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series, Doug Colby in our Pro Stock division, and Woody Pitcat in the late model division. All right, here they come now, and we'll give you the lineup very, very quickly. Starting at the rear of the field, it will be the 50 machine for Benny Garcia in the AVI International entry.
In the A starting spot, car number 81 for Todd Segretti.
Then we move along to the number 21 machine of Scott Johnson in the Schmidt Sales and Service car.
In the 6th starting spot, it's car number 48. That is the Dave Fifield Jr. car out of Milldale, Connecticut.
Then we go to the 18. Jeff Burrell drives the Nation Auto USA Cavalier.
2 rows back on the outside in position number 4, car number 25 for Billy Bolton.
And right alongside, it will be the number 38 for Lance Conley out of Patchogue, Long Island, the Flower Fashion Grand Prix.
Up alongside on the front row will be car number 06 for Richard Kowalski Jr.
And sitting on the pole, it will be the 99, the Tony's Auto Body entry for Kirk Zervis. Captain Kirk, we like to call him.
Captain Kirk.
The airline pilot is raring to go in that, well, what color would you call it? Almost a purple.
Is that what they call that?
Well, I'm not quite sure. Well, fuchsia, I guess.
Fuchsia. So, once again, this is our second and final qualifying event here for the SK Modifieds. Once again, Raleigh, 5 cars will transfer to tonight's 50-lap SK Modified feature. The Dillon Ford pace car takes a left, and Lance Conley gets a little bit out of shape, but back up to the front, it's Kurt Zervis, and Richard Kowalski would like to have a say in that. Those two are side by side that is the story up at turn number 2.
Down the backstretch, and look at the 06 of Kowalski. He just booms on out. And look at Billy Bolton. He's moving right up along with him, and he'll try to take that second spot away from Zervis, and he does as they come off the turn.
Bolton loose too, but meanwhile back up front it's all Richard Kowalski, but he's going to have some company knocking on the back door here momentarily. The field heads down the back straightaway. It's Kowalski. Billy Bolton now looks to the inside, takes a hard left, and Kowalski pinches him off of turn number 4. Back to the stripe, here they come. He leaves the door open for Bolton, and Bolton decides to come on in. We've got a brand new leader as the field emerges off of turn number 2.
Just a little opening, and Bolton took advantage of it in turn number 1 and takes the top spot away. Meanwhile, Conley works on Zervis for the number 3 spot, but that fuchsia machine is holding on. Off the turn to the line. It's still Zervis running third ahead of Conley.
But back up to the front, it's all Billy Bolton. Then it's Richard Kowalski Jr. Then it's a gap back to the Zervis machine. Lance Conley, and the fifth and final qualifier, at least at this point, Raleigh, will be car number 18 for Jeff Burrell, and he gets into Lance Conley. And Benny Garcia goes around as well. So trouble emerges in a matter of one lap as we're waiting to see if the number 38 car of Lance Conley is going to refire, and it doesn't look like it. So we'll go back to yellow here. This will be the first caution in this second modified qualifier.
All right, you are. So we shall see as they come across the line. Conley unable to refire as yet. Comes all the way in from the south shore of Long Island for the competition. And certainly not a kind moment for him, to be sure. And a black flag has been issued to the number 18 of Jeff Burrell, and he's being sent to the rear for rough riding. So Burrell will have a long way to come now to make it to a qualifying position with only 4 laps to go.
You know, that's a kind of a situation where you really wonder just exactly what happened. You know, did Burrell get into him purposely, or was Conley a little bit loose, try to let off the gas, try to let the car get straight, and when he checked up, Burrell get into him, and of course, now Burrell finds himself back in a spot.
Well, I'm sure if you talk to each of the drivers, they'll have a differing opinion.
Here we go. Green flying once again. Billy Bolton is your leader by about a half car length or so to the field as they head into between turns 1 and 2. But look, out of nowhere, he was 6th the last lap. This time he's 3rd. Then we're talking about Todd Zegerty, Raleigh in car number 81. He looks to the inside of the 06 machine for Kowalski and appears to have the spot off of turn 4.
Yes, sir. Good battle for that number 2 spot. Side-by-side action going in 01, and they touch wheels. But now the 81 comes out with that number 2 spot, and he'll try to hunt down our leader. But Bolton looks very strong out in front. That 25 car running very, very well at the moment. Jeff Burrell trying to work his way back. Meanwhile, getting sideways is the 50 of Benny Garcia. But we stay under green.
2 laps to go. Make that about 1.5 laps as the number 81 of Todd Zegerty pulls up on the back bumper, but Bolton gets a burst of power down the back straightaway and pulls out by about a car length or 2. But look at Jeff Burrell. He finds himself now in the 4th spot with car number 18.
How about that? He worked his way back very nicely. Here we go. Final circuit. Top 5, remember, make it to the SK modified feature along with 5 from our previous SK qualifier. Here they come now, final circuit. Zegerty trying to work his way up, but can't as Bolton runs wide and takes the checkered flag. Zegerty 2nd, Kowalski 3rd. Then it's the 18 of Burrell finishing 4th, and Kirk Zervis takes down the 5th and final qualifying spot to make it to our 2nd SK modified feature a little bit later on. So that's the story on that one. And we hope you enjoyed that SK qualifier to determine the final 5 cars. Now, youngsters, we'd like to remind you, you can join the fastest club in sports. That's right. Jackaroot's Kids Club offers free admission to members to all Stafford Motor Speedway NASCAR events, as well as free merchandise and Kids Club only meetings with NASCAR drivers. That's right. For membership information, visit the Speedway office or visit SMS online at www.staffordspeedway.com. And you know, while we have the opportunity